At exactly 3:15 p.m. tomorrow, every air conditioning system on Earth stops working. Not just home units, everything. Data centers, hospitals, food storage, nuclear power plants. In the first few minutes, most people would just feel uncomfortable. But within hours, our modern world begins to unravel in ways nobody expected. The first systems to fail aren't in homes or offices. They're in the buildings you never think about, the ones filled with computers. Data centers, the backbone of the internet, generate so much heat that without cooling, their servers begin to melt within minutes. Instagram goes dark, Gmail stops working, banking systems crash, the internet as we know it starts to disappear. But that's just the beginning. Modern hospitals require precise temperature control. Operating rooms must stay at exactly 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Blood banks, medication storage, diagnostic equipment all rely on constant cooling. Within hours, emergency rooms across warmer regions begin to close. Critical medications start to degrade. Think your smartphone will help you handle the crisis? Think again. The factories that make microchips require temperatures controlled to within half a degree. Without that precision, semiconductor manufacturing becomes impossible. No new phones, no replacement computers, no electronic components for anything. By sunset on the first day, something even more terrifying begins to happen. Nuclear power plants, which require continuous cooling for their reactors, initiate emergency shutdowns. The power grid starts to buckle, not because of the heat, but because we've lost one of our most critical safety systems. But here's where it gets really interesting. Modern buildings weren't designed to function without air conditioning. Those gleaming glass skyscrapers, they're about to become vertical greenhouses. Most modern office buildings can't even open their windows. By day 2, indoor temperatures in sealed buildings reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's the food supply that triggers the first wave of panic. Modern supermarkets rely on vast refrigerated networks. Without them, fresh food starts spoiling within hours. Frozen food, gone. Dairy, impossible to maintain. The entire cold chain that keeps our food system running simply collapses. By day 3, we're not just losing food, we're losing the ability to make it. Industrial bakeries can't operate in 100-degree heat. Food processing plants shut down. Even grain storage becomes a nightmare as humidity causes massive spoilage. We're not talking about inconvenience anymore. We're talking about a fundamental breakdown of our food production system. Then the migration begins. Cities in places like Phoenix, Dubai, and Singapore become virtually uninhabitable. Millions of people start moving north, creating refugee crises unlike anything we've seen before. Property values in traditionally cold cities skyrocket overnight. Welcome to the great air conditioning exodus. But here's what most people don't realize. The collapse of air conditioning doesn't just change where we live, it transforms how we live. Modern work schedules become impossible in hot climates. The traditional 9-to-5 workday disappears, replaced by the ancient practice of siesta. Cities become nocturnal, coming alive after sunset when temperatures drop. Global power structures shift dramatically. Countries in temperate zones suddenly hold immense advantage. Russia, Canada, and Northern Europe become the new centers of technological production. Tropical nations, once rising powers, face economic devastation. The global balance of power resets based on a single-factor average summer temperature. Architecture undergoes a revolution. Those efficient glass and steel buildings, abandoned. We return to ancient cooling techniques, buildings with thick walls, wind towers, and underground spaces. Cities begin to look more like ancient Middle Eastern settlements than modern metropolises. The economy transforms in unexpected ways. Industries we take for granted disappear. Movie theaters, shopping malls, data centers, but new industries emerge. Personal cooling technology becomes the new smartphone. Everyone needs it. Everyone wants the latest version. But perhaps the most profound change is in human behavior. Our species spent 99% of its history without air conditioning, and those old adaptations start to resurface. People become more nocturnal, communities become more local, the frenetic pace of modern life slows to match the rhythm of natural heating and cooling cycles. The irony? The loss of air conditioning might actually help solve the very problem it was masking. Climate change, energy consumption plummets, carbon emissions drop dramatically, and the world becomes less comfortable but potentially more sustainable. The next time you adjust your thermostat, remember that simple device isn't just controlling your comfort. It's part of a technology that completely reshaped human civilization. And its disappearance wouldn't just make us sweaty, it would force us to rebuild society from the ground up. If this glimpse into our fragile technological dependency fascinated you, wait until you see our next video about what happens if satellites disappeared overnight. Hit subscribe and tap that notification bell to make sure you don't miss it. Stay tuned.